Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Topat. The Disney Afternoon gave us some of the best cartoons ever made. Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, and Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers are just a few cartoons that came out of this line. I watched these shows a lot as a kid, and even today they still hold up. I know a lot of people complain about studios cashing in on nostalgia, but when it's done right, it's really good. The DuckTales reboot is a great example of this. That show was a huge love letter to the Disney Afternoon. It was done so well that when I first heard they were making the Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers movie, I was very excited. Then I saw the trailer. It didn't feel like a Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers movie. It felt like a sequel to Roger Rabbit. Roger is even featured in the trailer. Why couldn't it have been about him? When I think of Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, I think of action, adventure, and mystery. Not meta humor. Don't get me wrong, I love meta humor. But Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers never relied on it. I was hoping they would make something like the DuckTales movie, not something like Shrek. I kept my expectations low going in, and now that I've seen it, it's a mixed bag. The plot centers around how Chip and Dale met, and how they became stars on Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Dale does a TV pilot for a show called Double O Dale, which causes the Rescue Rangers to be cancelled. Some years pass, and Dale has gotten a CGI surgery, and he's still trying to live off his past fame. Chip sells insurance, Monty is addicted to cheese, and he gets kidnapped by someone called Sweet Pete. And Gadget and Zipper are married with kids. It's best not to think too deep about that last point. The biggest problem I have with this movie is that for a movie called Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, it hardly features the Rescue Rangers. Monty gets captured, and the rest of the movie is about Chip and Dale trying to work out their differences to rescue their friend. Gadget and Zipper barely have anything to do. Ugly Sonic is given more to do than Gadget and Zipper. That shouldn't be true. It felt like this movie was supposed to be about Chip and Dale, but they decided to throw in the Rescue Rangers for nostalgia. The meta humor works for the most part. I enjoyed seeing some of the different characters from different studios make cameos. But the problem is that it felt more like a rejected Roger Rabbit sequel than Rescue Rangers. If this had been a Roger Rabbit sequel, it might have been good. As a Rescue Rangers movie, it's bad. But that's not the worst of it. Oh no! The main villain is a middle-aged Peter Pan, who's called Sweet Pete. He kidnaps old tunes, changed their appearance, forced them to star in bootlegged versions of a popular movie, and then tossed them in the trash. Why is he doing this? I'm just gonna quote Sweet Pete. You know, I got my big break when I was just a kid. I got cast in the biggest movie in the world as the boy who wouldn't grow up, Peter Pan. I'd never been so happy in my entire life. Then I got older, and they threw me away like I was nothing. I was scared, desperate, and all alone. So I decided to take the power back and make my own bootleg movie. I called it Flying Bedroom Boy, and guess what? It worked. I made lots of money. So I recruited other toons to star in more movies. And bang-a-rang, now I ran my own bootleg movie studio. Now I decide who gets a star and who gets thrown in the trash. It's weird that Disney would allow one of their most beloved characters to be turned into a villain. Admittedly, Peter Pan has never been the best role model, but still, it's strange that they went this route. Especially if you know the history of the boy who voiced him. Bobby Driscoll was Disney's first big child star. He starred in the controversial Song of the South, So Dear to My Heart, Treasure Island, supplied the voice of Goofy's son in a few cartoons, but his biggest role was Peter Pan. Not only did he voice Peter, Bobby served as his live-action model. Many have credited Bobby Driscoll with saving Disney from financial ruin with these major hits. Then sadly, the same year that Peter Pan came out, Bobby Driscoll was let go from his contract 3 years early. This was the beginning of the end for Bobby. He tried to get parts from other studios, but nobody was interested. He turned to drugs and often found himself in trouble with the law. He did get some parts on TV, but nothing major. He died at the age of 31 and was buried at a potter's field. There's a lot of rumors and speculations regarding Bobby's life and the role Disney played in his downfall. I don't think it's completely fair to blame Disney for what happened to Bobby, for there were a lot of factors in his life that Disney had no control over. I'm also not saying Bobby is completely to blame for what happened. Sometimes bad things happen that are beyond our control. According to the movie's director, it was not their intention to mock Bobby Driscoll. They simply wanted to have a former child star whose career died when they grew up to serve as the villain. At one point, they talked about using Charlie Brown as the villain. It was ultimately decided that Peter Pan should be the villain, for it was easier to use a character Disney already had the rights to. Besides, I can't imagine the Schultz family being okay with an adult Charlie Brown being the movie's villain. There has been a lot of outcry on Disney's choice to make Peter Pan the villain, considering what Bobby went through. Most seem to believe they intentionally mocked him. Now, I'm going to take the director at his word and assume there was no ill intent. With that said, it still felt inappropriate to use Peter Pan that way. Look, I get it. Most people aren't aware of Bobby's story, and they'll just watch this movie thinking it's funny that Peter Pan is a has-been who became a villain. Some who know Bobby's story might just put that out of their minds, since there had been a lot of other actors who've played Peter Pan before and after Bobby Driscoll. That would be a fair point, if it wasn't for the fact that Bobby was a huge star for Disney, and they used his likeness for their version of Peter Pan. If this was any other version of Peter Pan that came way before Disney, then yeah, I could see them using the character that way. But since this is specifically Disney's Peter Pan, it's a little uncomfortable knowing Bobby's story to enjoy this. The movie should have used one of the villains from the show, like Fat Cat or Professor Nimnol. That would have helped connect it more to the Rescue Rangers. If they wanted to have a former child star as the villain, They should have created a new character. The writers could have used Bobby's story as inspiration. Or they could have used what happens to a lot of former child stars as inspiration. Why am I putting more thought in creating the movie's villain than the writers? If any good has come out of this, it's made more people aware of Bobby Driscoll's story. For those of you who want to learn more about Bobby Driscoll, check out the documentary Lost Boy, the Bobby Driscoll story. You can find it on YouTube. For fans of Chippendale Rescue Rangers, stick with the original show. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.